one final game. It's going to be Nuke again. It's a rematch, that's right. But due to the way the vetoes are structured, you have the opportunity to see the same maps back to back. We saw it previously in an NIP affair on Cash, and now we get it between the Danes over on Nuke. It's intriguing that it has cropped up. Of course, it does state that both of these sides felt relatively confident. They had two opportunities to ban it. Instead, they left it in, willing to give it a go. And so far, Heroic have done nothing but disappoint, at least themselves.
Yeah, what this indicates via the veto is both teams are willing to play it. So both teams actually had to pick it in one of their 3 map choices for it to even get to this point. So they're both comfortable on it, but Dig are looking much more comfortable at this point in time.
Yeah, and we're just going to quickly kind of outline exactly where those confident plays came from, right? Because Dignitas, straight out of the gate, basically started running rampant over the CT economy. Was it genuinely just they started strong and ran with it, or was it because Heroic kind of had a couple of early slip-ups?
Okay, so let's talk this through. So you win the pistol as Ts, that's fantastic. The CTs, though, they force-bought, right? They bought everything they could. They used all of their dollary dues, and they're out of money. The third round, they have to take a full eco. When you force buy on the CT side, when you go into the 4th round, you're never going to have full utility, right? You're never going to have all the grenades you need, or at least even 90% of the grenades you need, right? You don't have it.
You've probably got like what, a HE and a flash, a smoke and a flash.
Yeah, maybe a smoke and a flash at best. You know, you spread the kits. Maybe they only have 1 kit at that point in time, right? And if you don't win that round, then that's when you're in trouble. It starts to spiral out of control. From there, they chose to do force buys off the back of saved weapons as opposed to potentially ecoing and stuff. And then we saw a 7-1 scoreline, and at that point, they were just like, well, let's keep buying.
Yeah.
And utility really hurts you on this map. But this is one map when you're on the CT side. I know they didn't have a very good CT side at all, right? But I think this is, we always talk about when you're the T side and you get a pick, right? How you have an advantage. If you just play it properly, you can go and trade out. Nuke is a map where it's quite weaselly, right? You can sneak around, you can get in really interesting positions to get multi-frags. I think the CTs, if they lose a player and it's a 4v5 situation, I think they still have a chance to win the round, like more so than other maps, because you can play so many areas where you can pick up multi-frags and you negate the player loss. I mean, it
certainly sounds justified. Something that we didn't see too much of, and I was just going to kind of pick your brain on this one, is the AWP on Nuke. Now, I mean, I presumably outside holds, ramp holds.
We had a rule back in the team
Talk to me.
We would never run an AWP on T-side Nuke.
Okay,
because it wasn't viable.
Just cut it out.
Yeah, because you could get to a certain point. Both of the bomb sites are very close quarter, right? Like top side and under.
Yeah.
Where are you going to really use that AWP? Maybe if you get down ramp, you can pick towards the vents. Maybe if you get into the top side, you can leave the AWP outside to kill any rotators. But he's not with the team. He's not there able to help.
That's a good point to make. I mean, I guess, so what's the argument then that you have to take the fight outside at some point? You just say, no, we've got smokes. There's a reason we have smokes. Because, I mean, surely at some point you're going to have a long-distance challenge, you know, towards like crows or...
You close that distance down with smokes, exactly like what you're saying. You can pick up... I think it's more viable in this version now because the way people use the AWP is different from earlier days and especially Source days. Source was so much run and gun, you know, it was a lot more aggressive. This game people will say is run and gun, but it isn't as bad as what I think Source was. So we're seeing it...
Henry G just turned in his... Well, not grave, he's not dead. Just turned in his bedroom. Turned in his bed.
Yeah. So I think like the really valuable places for an AWP would be, one lurking around the warehouse outside, one towards up ladder, or one ramp. So those are the 3 spots, which is pretty viable. Sure. We saw World Edit on the floor of topside near Squeaky Door with an AWP. That is a place that you don't want to have an AWP as a CT.
It's true.
What are you doing there, mate? You get lost or something?
He's a playmaker, mate. You do not remember, Blade builds his whole team around him.
Making the play when you're CTs, and the whole idea is to stop them from planting the bomb.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, CT aggression is an intriguing discussion topic here on Nuke. Like, I mean... There is room to maneuver on as an aggressive CT, right? For sure.
Definitely, yeah. You can close down a lot of distance. You can flash into lobby while the Ts are setting up for outside stuff. We used to do like a ramp push where you'd push ramp with 2 guys. One guy would push Squeaky and one guy would push the hut. You get one simple flash in there, get lobby control, and it's all about how you'd rotate back because you know most teams leave one caretaker in lobby, do heavy outside. Once you have lobby control, you don't have to worry about it. You can leave one guy there babysitting it. Everyone drop back, rotate under, get a guy up ladder, make sure that you have all the spots covered, and then you just lie and wait. You can also play that very turtle setup, which is opposite of the aggression that you're talking about. You sit right back, get players underneath straight away, just get somebody making sure they can't come around to ladder base / top of ladder, and sit right back, let them do all the work.
Do you know what else we saw? We saw Freeze going for that vent dive, trying to get that fast plant. Now, I remember ye olde days of Nuke where a vent dive was a very valid pug strategy. You go down, get that fast plant, and it did seem like, I don't know whether it's the new map or whatever it was, but Config was so ready for that.
Yeah. We sent it in both new
Unbelievable.
games tonight, actually.
Yeah,
where
they
they
still
were
going
ready
for it?
I think the idea is as soon as if you're the ramp player and you hear anything on top, you're basically going to be dropping
As
under
soon as
for
that vent breaks.
Yeah, like it's probably something predetermined. Even though you're setting yourself up for a ramp rush, if you're using the utility properly, using a Molotov, you buy yourself a couple of seconds to hear what's going on. If it is a top rush, then you can rotate accordingly. What teams tend to do, though, is if they'll send one guy down the vent and the rest will rush ramp, so it's a weird thing. You know, you got to make sure that you're ready for that. As long as you stop the plant, though, you should be all right.
I mean, that's your entire job, and that's the entire purpose of that play. Looks like all of the players are in, though, and we're almost ready to get going into our second venture of Nuke. And so that does start to begin the dialogue, Chad, where I ask you, it was a 16-3 stomping.
Yep.
Heroic are by no means slouches. We've seen them commit some very, very good performances just versus some tier 1 opponents. Will they have learned from their mistakes? Is this, what has been essentially a 5-minute team talk, going to be enough to actually influence the result?
They'll be starting on the T side, so they could potentially build up some momentum. We could see the exact same thing happen. I don't think so, though.
It's possible.
Yeah, I think that we'll see a better showing out of Heroic this time. It's too difficult for me to say one way or another, so I'm actually going to sit on the fence with this one. I think it'll be a closer game than before, but I think a Danish team will win.
Okay, wow, nice. Okay, so it does look like you're going to go with Dignitas. And it's kind of hard to blame you, especially given...
Whoa. I didn't go with anybody.
Yeah, all right, Mr. Fence. I know you're going for Dignitas.
I didn't say anybody.
Uh-huh. Okay, and who's going to be your MVP on that winning team?
ESL Observer.
Oh, you monkey. You got me. Okay, fine. He's wormed his way out of that one. Our Observer, Rushley, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really needs to consider getting rid of some of those numbers.
What's with the numbers?
I don't know. What is the story there, Observer? Tell us. Well, I'll find the answers and tweet them. Either way, it is time to get your casters back on screen. Once again, Pansy and Uber to talk you through Nuke.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It seems like only 10 minutes ago we were going through this map, but it is going to be the second part of this doubleheader. I mean, we can talk as much as we want about Heroic learning from their mistakes, yada, 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 but one of the big problems that Chad pointed out was not having 5 Molotovs on the CT side to around 15. You don't really just like tweak a couple things and fix that. It's all about sort of how you get or don't get stomped over this first few and being kept at a very low economy level.
There was so many issues. Let's be very honest. You could sit there and look back through that game and break it down round by round and just list off a million things from that. But for me, it's how well do Heroic reset mentally, because they are a great side on this. They had that 7-0 run where they picked up every single game they played on Nuke, and it wasn't just against trash tier teams. This was good teams, so they have the ability to play it. But can they reset? And now you can see the updated scores here: 7-1, the first loss they've had on this with this roster. So. For me, you've got to see a different Heroic coming out here, mentally reset, get back in the game, just get a start that they need. And they've got to shut down players like Config so early, because he had an absolutely blistering game on that first go of things.
And if you can consider like a decent timeout during any sort of competitive game, a hard reset, then you have to call this the same, as we've had enough time. However, our 2 players to watch, I think, are very much correct there. Freeze. Underwhelming performance from him, I think, just really struggled to get himself in a position to build momentum. He sat on the AWP for a lot of rounds and wasn't able to do much with it, losing out some situations that you really shouldn't be. And Config, on the side of Dignitas, Lauren, was definitely a playmaker. He was definitely getting in amongst the thick of things and getting away with some things that maybe he shouldn't be allowed to.
Yeah, there's questions aplenty on this one between the two teams. And Rabino, to me, the power he had when he went into those sites, as you said and highlighted before.
Love it. Like a bulldog, just straight in there.
Yeah, no messing around at all. Absolutely sick stuff from him. So if he gets the same sort of vibe out of this, it could be dangerous. But at the end of the day, they're going on the T side now, aren't they? So I guess it's down to them to make all the moves, or we'll just see how this is going to pan out very quickly. Dignitas' CT side, we didn't get to see too much of it, of course, with that sort of scoreline they had. So
and never anything decent being brought into it by
No.
Heroic anyway. So
Yeah.
no, you're right, it wasn't tested at all.
So at least we get to see a little bit more of these sort of things. Like, we get to have a little bit more fun with it. Maybe get to see why Heroic have this in their map pool and they've been good at it in the past. I haven't had the pleasure of actually casting on this too much recently, so again, it's a bit of a learning process as to what they've actually done in the meantime, how much have they come up with, what's their T-side actually like once we get to see it in full effect. But Dignitas seem to have their number right now, or at least just on a better par performance-wise at the moment.
Well, I think there's a player that disconnects and has to rejoin, and maybe even a coach, so we're going to be just chilling for a little bit here, guys. For those who don't know, you should know that ESL New York's coming up on the weekend. The group stages are happening from these studios on Friday. Chad's going to be here as well, of course, loving life. Natu's coming down. We've got Hugo coming in from the UK as well. And we're going to be here from, I don't know, 4 p.m. CEST till about 4 a.m. covering 8 best of 1. So I'd tune in for that. Definitely check it out. So it's not happening at the venue itself. It's going to be happening here. So we're going to have a bit of fun. There's a good chance we're going to get a little bit loopy at that as well.
Oh, there's definite madness going to set in.
If you're going to stick two Aussies together casting late at night, I mean, yeah, who knows what's going to be
It's a dangerous game we're playing here.
So yeah, worth watching, worth seeing if any of us gets fired. I'm probably the most prime candidate for
You
that
reckon
one.
you'd be up first on that?
Yeah, I reckon I've been wearing the line thin recently, you see.
Yeah, you reckon there's that email about to be coming in pretty soon?
So Joe Miller comes in the office and gives me that look. It's like, oh, what
Do
have I
you
done?
think this is acceptable?
Yeah, no, show me. He's like, do you think this is okay? He never says anything wrong. He just asks me if I think anything wrong. I think it's fine.
So when your mum's just disappointed in you.
My neckline has stayed very much up, unlike Matt's. His V-necks have been plunging. We've been seeing more and more of our friend Matt.
Yep.
Perhaps in the way that some people want to see.
It's been enjoyable. It's been a
nothing
whole new
wrong with
world.
self-advertisement there, really. But we've been enjoying that. Obviously, some questionable fashion styles. If you were here early on the week, if you're here for Henry G Day, that was quite fun.
Oh, I saw those pictures. I wasn't actually there for it.
Yeah, no, we all had the denim shirts on. It was great, except for Henry G. That was the ironic part of it there as well.
How brilliant.
Had some viewers as well tweet into us and showing
Were they
off.
wearing denim too?
Yes, we had them tweet in how they were watching with denim on. One guy draped jeans across himself, and I counted
That's
that
good
as well.
enough. That's effort.
You know, MacGyver wore denim, and that's a MacGyver technique as well to be feeling Henry G Day. So that was fun. Hopefully we've got more days coming around. That'll be fun. Anyway, that's what we're waiting on here at the moment. It was Cajun B, the spicy man himself, waiting on to join back up.
The cleaner is back.
The cleaner, indeed. And, well, I mean, yeah, I felt like a bit of a mismatch if you play the Orbs up against each other in this game. Cajun B hasn't had to. We saw the Dignitas. Chad talked about it as well, Lauren. More like the 5 AK approach here. It's not maybe super viable to take an AWP on that T side. I tend to agree with that one, unless it's like a round where you really want to control the secret, or maybe get a lot of players into secret. But then once you have to go yourself, it's a bit mad. But we saw one round where Cajun B had a Tech 9 and just rushed in towards ramp room, got the first kill, and then controlled the lower B side with that one. So that works anyway. But it's pistol time. Dignitas are the home team in this scenario, so they actually start on the CT side this time. And Heroic, they would love to try and replicate what their Danish brothers in arms have already done, but that's going to take a little bit more than we've seen from them so far.
And that's pretty much it all laid out here. So going into this one, we do have the CT side with absolutely nothing other than armor, so no one going for the utility punches, nades, or any kits.
Round 4 might be okay.
Yeah, so onto the other side of things, though, Glaze going to be the man to make the plays happen. He's one with the smokes and the flashes, so he can kind of set up the play that the rest will build off, who all have armor. So again, for Heroic, it's got to start right now because, you know, in the back of their minds, they're still going to remember the last result. It's certainly not going to just disappear from their minds, and they've got to negate the man who's in Garage that he's kind of toying with right now, which is Config. I think he got 4K in the first pistol on the first half.
He did.
So, again, you don't want to set this man off.
It was that weird round where they sort of swapped places. And Dignitas were on the CT part of the map and controlled from Crow's Nest, which is where Config went. So very slow round here. Heroic know how much this means to them to get a couple rounds in at the start here, at least on their T side, at least. Both these two teams, you could almost consider them specialists with how much they're playing it. So that's why, I mean, this pistol has so much more riding on it there, but it's good start for Heroic. Couple of kills coming in. Cajun B from up on high, though, swinging through. The cleaner at least finds one, but his teammates are falling by the numbers here. He has 2 for himself, though, and this is still winnable. Now with Magic finding on towards Freeze there in towards Hut. Control for Cajun B top side. Snappy has to be ready for this, and he's not. No, it's all going wrong for Heroic. Magic Boy finds him, and it's a 2v5 essentially there. All the kills going across these two players. The Dignitas get themselves the pistol, and that is going to pave the way quite nicely here for the first few rounds for that side.
Absolutely. Magic and Cajun B doing pretty much everything they needed to then. And you've got to feel for Heroic. They needed that start, just confidence-wise. You're sitting there mentally going, can we even get rounds going? You know what I mean? You sit there and you don't forget the last round. You can reset, but you're not going to forget. So coming into the next one, are they going to just clean eco? Please do. Nothing bought. Okay. Maybe a vent dive. If you throw all bodies down there, you might be able to get a plant.
This is the long-term investment, yeah. You buy nothing in this round and you plant
Vent dive.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, we're going to go for it here. So what Molotovs are we going to see? Well, the only one comes out. Robino's going to cut them down. No one's going to be diving today, except for the Heroic players hitting the deck in numbers, and now Snappy going to be caught in his own in Squeaky. Gets himself that ninja kill, gets himself a UMP. Surely not gets himself the spray. Just going to be the 2 for him for the round. And Dignitas do dispatch of Heroic's attempt to try and find some money. None to be had. It's like a 50-cent piece, but it's stuck to the ground. It's like a prank. You're on candid camera. Heroic, you can't dive that vent.
It was worth a try. It's probably the most viable way to get plants unless you're really going to invest into something else. The mollies are always going to be there, though, so how viable really is it? I don't know.
I'd say stop. I'd say stop. But, I mean, hey, look at this, though. 5 AKs into this round. saving on that second is actually putting them in an earlier buy situation.
Yep. Getting the plant in the first will, of course, help them in towards that sort of approach. Now, we need to see Heroic start. You don't want to lose that money out here. Good beginning for Bino. No mollies to clear out the corner. There's one you can put down to that quite comfortably. Something that was toyed with very early on. Tonight, people like Hiko or MBK playing that sort of position. Now, Glaves still trying to take care of Garage. There is a player nearby, and I'm pretty sure KGB's going to hear those steps. Now, that sets up Config to try and play the angle. He can back away a little more, and I like him doing this. He's got to be careful not to get rushed down. Again, smoke goes up, takes the time. Cajun B going to want to find the frag, and that's good. Good play off the back of each other there.
And what do you do as Heroic now? You've got Smoke on one side, you've got Cajun B on the other. Freeze is going to try and, I guess, extricate them from this pincer situation, but Cajun B's long since left. He's out of there. He's gone straight up towards upper. The one kill and the information was more than enough for him. And now he might just peek back down and see if Heroic might try and head themselves towards Annex or towards main. Config's got to be careful there. That flash came in, he dodged it. The shot's coming in from Valdo. We didn't dodge anything really, it was just timing. But now, UMP comes in. He can control. He doesn't need to get kills. He just needs to stay alive here, keep them honest. And, well, he's doing even more than that at this stage. The Deagle comes out, gets himself 2 kills. G'day, Config. Welcome to the party. And Snappy, he's getting sent home without a goodie bag. You remember them? You ever go to parties when you were young, get like a goodie bag when you went home, like with sweets and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That was a dream. I don't get that anymore.
Well, to be fair, the parties we go to probably...
I would like a goodie bag from one of those parties, Lauren. That's all I would like that.
Yeah, though, it'd be quite interesting to see what we'd come back with. We can leave that topic for another day.
Work on it. Get me a goodie bag.
Yeah, filled with shame, sadness, and some booze left over, probably.
Every esports party.
Pretty much. For Heroic in this round, again, plants name of the game, getting guns away, even better, but unlikely as you like. P250's upgraded, no armor, no flashes, and one Deagle there with Snappy in the end. Config's already claimed the scalp of Freeze, and KGB wants to join in on the fun. Already spots out Glaive, careful of T-Red. You can see as to why Glaive's there. Excuse me, sorry, Valda's there. And yeah, this is not looking so robust in any way, shape, or form. Config got tagged, but that's not enough to do much in this round.
No, Snappy trying to go for some Deagle work here towards main. Finds Rubino there. So again, Snappy managing to find, some solace in this situation over towards Squeaky for a second round here. But KGB knows that Moddy's waiting on the other side. At least he feels that way. Snappy never had a chance there. Peeked around. The crosshair placement was prime from Magisk Boy, and now it is going to be Moddy. Well, there was Moddy. That's all we're going to see. Your ankle should not be at that angle. I'm sorry, that's not okay. And Heroic, they're feeling it. They're going to need some bandages themselves. Now they can buy back in. Orp coming out for Freeze here. So they are going for this one. Chad be turning in his seat and making a really annoying squeaky sound we hear at the desk.
Yeah.
But let's see what they can play into this one. Cajun B has one for himself here, so we'll see how that first Orp pick on towards outer, if that's going to be the case, goes.
And Cajun B generally takes it towards upper and Crows, just kind of plays off the back of the catwalk. Might not be the case. They might be expecting a bit more presence towards upper, takes a little peek towards vent. No one's making an early play from it, so let's look at outside as well. Who's been playing that? So you've got the 2 men out there. Rubino and Config actually taking care of that to start with. Now Cajun B's going to take over, play a little bit of a passive angle, wait for the cross either towards main or possibly towards secret. The thing is, you can't really watch both of those angles. You need someone out there with you. That's the one thing that changed in this really, is that you can't have everything under control with an AWP on the outside area. You need someone to either watch the upper catwalk, watch the main push, because you can have the safe cross towards secret or garage, but they could still sneak through towards the main, towards A. So you've got to be a little bit careful what you're watching. So that's going to be the T-Smoke going up there to try and avert their eyes, but actually it's allowing the play to come in, and Freeze just gets outdone. Simple as that. Cajun B just beasts him, and sadly for him, that's not a good start with Freeze in the AWP here on the T side.
Now, Cajun doesn't see all the players on outside there as well, just maybe the 1 or 2. So you can probably conjecture that one has gone down in towards secret here. I think Rubino's in position to address that particular situation. But still, 47 seconds left in the round here. Cajun B, again, going to find Glaive, and now Moddy and Snappy. And, of course, Valde have a lot of work to do. At least Snappy's down towards the lower side. Not really actually on the side, sorry, just through the holes there. And Cajun B has been controlling this map. He's been very, very fluid in his movement. Rubino going to get double charged down. It's going to be Valde to find him. But now 2 players for Heroic can pressure this side. They might have to give them away coming through the observatory room, though. That's a bomb down. Snappy's got to just double back and get towards this one. And just takes a leisurely peek out towards the side, plops Snappy's head off, easy as you like.
Mitch, I feel this is going to be at least an early night. You know what I mean?
You got a bath ready? You said you were going to take a bath today.
I might go for the relaxing bath when I get home.
Out there.
I've got a new book as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got some Enya going?
You know I like my Enya, all right? There's nothing wrong with Enya.
You already ran me through your playlist earlier on, so I'm ready. It was very serene, to be fair.
It is. It's what I need. After I smother myself in Twitch chat and obscenities, it's just I need Enya and
I don't think
baths.
you can wash that off.
I can try, Mitch. The bleach has been working away at it for years, but still there, just like that. Real thin piece of my dignity that's left alive. But into this round we go. Heroic have such few options to build from. So going to go for a bit of a play towards ramp, at least a foray towards, I don't know if it's going to come to much as Modi already receives a face full of damage. Magic's not going to back away too much yet, going to pull back towards the back box, which means he's kind of pinned to this, so he needs the support from Cajun B to come in from hell, and it's there. Snappy's there, Magic's there, gets a 2 for 1, pretty much just spraying in, and it's just dealt with very nicely. Put a bow on it, and it's done.
So Magic's there will at least play that situation very differently to what we saw Modi do on his CT side. He challenged quite far forward, then dropped back, and then went for another peek up towards the ramp. Magic's confident there, definitely confident in the fact that he would have Cajun be off towards the side to peek in and get that sort of refrag, or if it was even required, or just get a kill there. Yeah, Heroic came in with Tech 9s and stuff like that. A bit of a forced pistol round here, so they can still buy up again, of course, into a decent round for them here. Let's see what they can sort of put together. It's going to be Glaive on the outside. Again, peeks in towards the shed, not seeing anyone yet. Cajun B, not really a tendency for him to go that far. Like you said, he likes to sit on upper and sort of pick people off at long range and see any cross towards secret. So this is fine so far. The man himself, you can see, doesn't really like standing up on the walkway so much. Config. Test. It's a second Molotov thrown there in towards secret. It's quite interesting. So this gives Cajun B a bit of a signal to just check out what's going on here, because obviously he's the only man that can really peek into the situation. And he backs down.
Cajun B could be in trouble. No, not at all. Valda's going to be destroyed, but a bit of an issue there in the side room. Freeze gets involved with the action. We're down to a 3v3, but Freeze can't quite get to that bomb yet. They don't know where the danger lies, and Glaive almost missed that. Let's be very precise about that one. That could have been a bit of a problem building, but now Freeze can get the bomb, but he's not quite with Glaive yet. So there's still issues waiting. You know, how can they find out the rest of the information on this map? They've got 37 seconds, and Glaive say, yeah, low is clear, but is there someone in between them? Is there anyone waiting? We're about to find out right about now. Freeze is trying to clear it. It takes time, and look at MSL's position. It's nice. It's a good one.
Good smoke.
The smoke will allow Freeze to cross, but there's a problem. They haven't cleared this out. They still need to be quite mindful of it being a possible issue down the line. So they're going to plant safe for it. Bomb goes in, and now MSL opens the door. Their worries, their consideration of it was correct. But now Dignitas have to play retake here.
So Robino opts not to go towards the vents, but Freeze is still ready for him there. Takes him very, very low, gets the finish off with the pistol. Now MSL has to challenge into a 1v2. Door is shut. That's Freeze on the other side of it here. Obviously, the bomb was planted safe in the room he came from there. So, I mean, Heroic put that one together fairly nicely, I'll be honest. They lost a couple of players towards the end. Freeze spent a lot of trying to clear, and it was just as well that he did, because MSL was in that classic Freiburg position you see on this map, was ready to receive. So a smoke there, even if it doesn't tell Freeze if the MSL was behind it, he still planted safe on the other side of that silo. So some good decisions being made by Heroic towards the end of that round, just on the assumption that there was going to be some player lurking in the lower halls.
Yep, so now still... Finally, we get to see Heroic maybe with a little bit of something to work with, but 6-1 is still an absolute disaster, considering the last map. I would say normally, no worries,
fine, right?
still okay, but their CT side was really underwhelming. But let's take it as a fresh start. It's 2 best of 1 separately, so I won't be writing them off just yet. It's certainly going to be in the back of our minds, though. Now it's going to be the Dastardly duo, Config and Cajun B towards the outside area. Config looking for the cross, allowing Cajun B to take a look towards silo. Anyone up there doesn't see anything yet. I think there was a player there who's backed off it, but Glaive's quite close by, so he's going to try and sneak past both of their positions. He doesn't know how far he can get, but actually he's got a lot of room to work with. If they time it well, Rabino could be absolutely screwed here, and he is. The door opens, there's the pinch. Glaive comes in, now looks for a follow-up. He gets it. Config goes down from Crows, but they know it's another, and Glaive is doing some heavy lifting here.
Cajun B, though, forcing his way through front. He actually has the time to switch towards an AK there. He finds Valda. Now, not quite sure. Modi was firing towards the back of the side, so it's a switch back towards the AWP. 2 HP. Can he get Freeze? No, it's not going to be enough. Freeze had his own rifle there, ready to set it up, and nicely done. Heroic get themselves 2. This is how you want to keep Dignitas lean on their economy. And they've still got money to go in with, as you may expect. But these 2 hard-fought T-sided rounds, Heroic are going to need to bank on coming into that next half. And it's a good start. It's definitely better. They've now only just really started to make back on these rounds, but it's a good way to do it. I mean, still, Glaive goes for a P90, interestingly enough here, despite having the money to go for something more. So we'll have to see how he decides to use that one here. It might lend itself to a little bit more aggression from Heroic.
Let's see what Dignitas have here. For me, I just want to see how they respond. Do they come back into it straight away? But there's a good trade between MSL and Rabino. MSL doing well. Down on the site itself, he has just shut out Heroic very, very... well, amply, let's say, as now Freeze is left in a 1v4. He's surrounded on front, but he's going to fight his way out. Magis goes down first, Flash comes in. Blinded, he can't see a single thing.
I don't know why you rushed in that kind of round. Do they, I guess, underestimate Dignitas' economy there? Do they think maybe they're on a save, or they're sort of working with not a lot?
These are great questions, Mitch.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, the site rush works really well against, like we've talked about already tonight, teams that don't have, you know, the utility in terms of, you know, your Molotovs and your smokes there to stop you, but Dignitas had that. The mollies came down. They were a little bit late, to be honest, but they managed to control from rafters. So
Yep.
a little bit interesting, the decision-making there for Heroic. Now they go back to pistol, so that one little mistake, if it was so, has cost them.
Absolutely, it has. And look at this now. Config with the AWP. Okay.
Double AWP here, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not doing too badly with it either. He's kind of freeing up Cajun to play elsewhere, maybe play a different angle towards the outside area, maybe more towards Crows, I can imagine. And it's actually safe to double AWP in a way on this one. You don't get rushed down so easily. It's not like they can just run in towards Crows and they can just run into Config instead. Modi gets one to the chest, and now we're down to 3.
Just P250s here for Heroic, and they need to hedge their bets at the safest site here. It's either ramp room or a late vent dive, or try and challenge up here on this A site. So none of those options are really airtight for them. Actually, it looks like ramp room, yeah, Magic is actually pushed into radio, so not really safe any of those ways. Rubino gives himself away here in this position now, but Heroic have to extend to try and sort of shuck him out of that one. Still, we got one man going down the vent, but seeing that it was banged in, it's going to be Glade just trying to get the plant. He should be able to get at least that. I think, yeah, just that though. Now should be gunned down.
This game, Mitch, I'm not feeling good for Heroic in this one. There's the retake coming in. Clean round as well for Dignitas. Good stuff from them, not losing on a player. Actually not bad silver lining. The Heroic at least got a plant, but at this point you want more than that. I'd say at least 3-4 rounds. I'm still waiting to see how CT side this map is, because the last game that we watched, obviously the last best of one just a second ago, doesn't give you really the normal picture here.
Yeah, I think it was better. I think it was just better reads of economy by Dignitas in general, or at least just an understanding of how they could sort of push and pull Heroic in terms of the money. I mean, the Heroic rushing upper with Dignitas actually having the utility to deal with it there kind of indicates to me that they aren't quite as astute yet in their understanding of how, you know, the economy is working on it. I could be wrong, to be fair. It's more of a guess at this stage, but we'll see. Still double AWP in play here for Dignitas. Didn't lose anyone that last round, and Rubino pushed up close. This could be nasty. He gets himself one, tries to transition, but no, Freeze shuts him down. Desperate stuff from Freeze with a no-scope. It probably was that. Gets on towards Rubino, but still, Config knows there's a couple players there. Freeze is quite low, and MSL is just going to be there to clean up the rest. Gets himself 2. And now, all avenues pretty much being shut in the face of Heroic now. No more doors are opening there. I think Config spots Valde go there, but Valde takes that fight, gets up in his face, but still 3v1. Huge steps for Valde here to get towards the site. Magisk were waiting for him inside hut. But Valde, do you go the roundabout? I like this a lot here. Now Magisk won't be aware of this one, and this is nice. This is Ninja, and this is what Chad was talking about as well. This is that kind of Weasley map where you can get yourself into interesting positions and get those kills where maybe they're unexpected. So he can creep all the way towards lower here. He's got the bomb. Can even smoke on the site, or does he go all the way around? Come from Crow's Nest, that would be big.
And they're both isolated. That's the thing, there's no trade that can happen here.
Check this.
Valde, it's if Cajun hears him or not. He hasn't heard him yet. Valde has to dismount well. Now Valde checks the site, spots out Magis. Takes the time on the shot, hits it. Takes a little bit of damage on the way down, but he's going to get the plant now. Cajun B silently creeps up, looking for this one. Valde not expecting it yet. Cajun B's going to peek, and Valde spots him. He's got to run away. He's got to find a better angle, but he can't do it. Cajun B will hunt him down with merely the pistol and get the job done in the end. An unfortunate bit of events there, Valde, just to not check, simply just to not look to his left. Of course, there's no reason he'd be instantly thinking he's got to be there. No, he took a risk, he took a gamble, he went for it, and it just wasn't the right angle.
One of the most interesting parts of this game is actually seeing what players do when they have misconceptions or incorrect assumptions. And how they play about it. We have 2 players in that scenario that both initially had incorrect assumptions there with how the sort of round played out there. But still, not going to be enough for Heroic. Now, round loss bonus ticking by this point, and they had a lot of money. I mean, Glaive bought P90 is to have 4K left over a couple rounds back, so they can still mostly buy into this one. Modi with the Desert Eagle. We might even see an upper hit coming through here now. No more towards outside. They're just deep smokes being laid. We'll see. Config standard positioning for him. That AWP needs to come into play quite well, but he's been smoked out of that main shed here. And this allows Heroic to get up quite close here before there's even much he can do. He actually got flashed as well, did Config. So now it gets a little bit riskier for him to make these kind of peaks, whether he knows that or not. He might have heard Valde there.
He's definitely going to hear him now, but the shadow betrays Config. It just stepped around that little bit too quick, and now Valde has a good chance of following this one up. He's going to hop up on towards the aircon vents and just have a little bit of a further peek. He doesn't make the movement too smooth, so it allows MSL the angle, but slows himself down a bit here, but MSL's gone...
What?
MSL, that timing. Unfortunate for him, brilliant for Heroic, as now it is round on. This is all wrapped up in a bow. Magisk is so far out of this round. I think he's in hell at the moment. Yeah, he is. And he has to get through Valde, who's got the angle. It can happen. You've seen people just fly up these ladders and do the job, but it's not going to be the case. Valde with a big opportunity, takes it with both hands, and that's 4 kills for him. And it's meant that at least Heroic have a buffer now.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me, this is an improved performance here from Heroic. So, I mean, yeah, MSL, he doesn't hear. He doesn't hear Valde sort of hopping around as well. It was, I mean, he can do it quite silently for the most part there, but yeah, sometimes you just get CS:GO'd. There's a lot of those moments that this game is just full of them there. And that's, I think this map's just really interesting, right? Still, so many angles are unexpected, so many timings are not able to be read into by teams who are still working on this, even between these two teams who play a lot of Nuke, more than pretty much anyone else.
9-3, Config. How much can one man do? Certainly looking to really keep pulling this one forward. Gonna just go through the molly end, and Freeze is completely unawares, but it was meant to be Config's frag, it wasn't. It was Cage and B's in the end. So they've done the work towards the outside, but you can see the instant reaction from Heroic. Get down towards Radio. Maybe those players were trying to head towards Secret before, but Rabino is bounding down there. Beautiful movement to allow him to do so, and now he's in a good position to stop this plant, quite possibly. No smoke to pond to the side, so Heroic have to keep this one and check themselves, but good work on the doorway. Rabino's just going to dance on this one, and now it's going to force Glaive to go for a different plant. That's going to work out for him well, but now he gets spotted out, and Rabino is playing this site like an absolute beast. Modi now 1v3.
It's just an open door, it's a face full of bullets, and then he slams it back in their face. Modi, though, now gives him his position away. He knows he has to do this in there. He has to go for a bit of a rough challenge against Config. He already knew where to be aiming there. So nicely done. Dignitas break this one back fairly comfortably. Still a plant for Heroic here. Money for them, yeah, it's sufficient. I'll say that. It's sufficient to buy in this next round, so that's not bad for them. They definitely wouldn't, I mean, 4 rounds here, already an improvement on what we saw from them in that last game, and getting him on the T side is even better for them, so good way to sort of set themselves up here. Dignitas have what I would say is they're getting towards what's necessary. There's still 2 more rounds and a half. If you dig, the job's not quite done yet, especially with Heroic now sort of getting that plan to be able to buy into this round. You still need to be very much paying attention. You need to be at battle stations, so we'll see now if there's anything different about this setup here. Note, now no double AWP here, so Config just with the AK. Again, Cajun B obviously doesn't choose to play this position, wants to sort of play back a little bit more towards the right. So that could be a little bit riskier for Config, especially if he has to go up against Freeze in this kind of position. You know, it needs to be pretty sharp. This is going to be a bit of a smoke now over by Freeze. That one should just allow people to get towards Secret. And we'll be waiting on Heroic's attempt and execute here. Their positioning now doesn't suggest a lot more than maybe sort of a late play around the side and then sort of a pincer move on towards the upper side. Config shows himself, but just as the smoke comes up, Freeze none the wiser to his positioning, but Config definitely can't see anything. Rubino, very powerful from this position.
And the one benefit is that the CT side now don't have much utility. That's all been kind of stripped away from them. All they have left is Rubino and MSL. Did he just see the gun? I think the gun just showed through the doorway, if I'm not mistaken. Or he just had a really good bit of game since I'm almost certain it showed for a second there. So he's going to try and spray for it. He gets punished, and that's 2 big entry kills, leaving it down to 3. Config, Cajun B, and MSL trying to read this one. And actually, Cajun B, rather than going up the ladder, is going to come back towards ramp, and he's going to get an absolute face fall. But that's a bomb. Spots it, turns the flash, goes back in. Cajun B absolutely destroying Heroic, and Modi just has to walk through the massacre of his teammates, backing towards lobby here. It's all for nothing. Gets hit with a nade, and he tried to get away from him. He tried to run, but you can't hide from Cajun B.
Get cleaned, Heroic there. Trying to go towards the ladder room. I mean, the ramp room, should I say. They already dealt with Magisk Boy, who'd been sort of quite a big obstacle for them so far. But let's have a look at this. Yeah, the gun barrel clips through the door, and he responds to that.
That really sucks.
He does. He tries to go for it. Yeah, a bit weird, isn't it? Volvo, please. Anyway, yeah, nice work for our Config there. Peeks in towards that ladder room. Doesn't go back up the top as well. Goes for a second peek in towards ramp. And the rest is history now. And Heroic, well, last round of the half here, they're going to just force some pistols and hope to make something happen of it. Modi. Oh, all right, Modi. Shot through the smoke, finds the head of Rabino. You can't even make this stuff up. And that is going to make Dignitas a little bit lighter up on this upper side. Now, Glaive finds Config, things falling in the favor here of Heroic. It looks like they're going to be pushing their advantage now as well. A lot of that utility being used here, and MSL is going to have to deal with a lot of this.
Yeah, no kidding. MSL going to be where the line stops and the bomb just trickles towards him, but Freeze gets himself the AWP and now down to 1v1. He's going to take the time to turn to it and now goes in on the shot, gets the job done. MSL could not keep it together now. That's more of a competitive half. Finally, we get to see something from Heroic. It wasn't much of a buffer, but it's just enough that they can hopefully get something building from.
And we feel like that's probably Heroic providing the bare minimum they're going to need if they're going to weather the storm, especially if the pistol round's not going to be successful. So far, Dignitas have dominated them in this game. Let's see if Heroic can get one back after the break. Well, at the very least, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen an improvement here from Heroic on this second iteration of Nuke. They started on the T side, got themselves 4 rounds, and that sends them in decent stead, especially off the back of a potential 1 pistol round. Then we'd be cooking with gas, Lauren.
Yeah, we certainly would be. I don't think they need any more help along the road of getting this one going for Dignitas. They already certainly remember the first time they played this one out. The second seems merely like a formality. However, Heroic do at least have 4 as a buffer. For me, that's enough to build with. I still think that this map is that CT-sided. I think that should be able to do the job, but we'll have to wait and find out if it actually is at this point.
It's a map that requires you to read really well or predict the situation of your opposition in terms of what their tendencies are, how much money they have, how much utility they're going to buy. Do they sacrifice guns for utility? Do they take an AWP frequently as well towards outside or something like that? So really good if you know that in advance, and really good if you can actually adapt and learn that and understand that as the game's going on. But the pistol round, we talk about it a lot. I don't like to harp on it, but on Nuke, it takes a bit more importance, a bit more center stage, because we often see heavily skewed score lines going into half-time. So obviously, you know, if you're that team that is behind, as is often expected on this map, this is like twice as important.
And look at Dignitas straight up towards upper and then being absolutely destroyed. Finally, Heroic are able to stop something. Felt like a lifetime in the making, and it's gone very, very well for them. No wild spree from Config this round. It's just a very simple, clean affair between Snappy, Freeze, Glaive, and Valda just to greet them with that over-aggressive play towards the upper bomb site.
All right, so we're happy. We're satisfied here. Heroic, they ticked one box. There's a few more that they need to get through now, but of course, they're not going to mess around in this round. They're going to buy up three of those M4, should I say, and work around that as much as they possibly can. And you'll notice the presence of 2 Molotovs here for Snappy and Valda. 1 kit, though. This is something that Chad did point out. Sometimes, you can exploit the fact that earlier on we don't have full kitted out teams. But it's the Dignitas play here. 5 of them coming in. We know what they can do with these.
Yeah, Config known for it. A couple of the others certainly making a couple of headlines for themselves as well. Config taking the opening fight. Cajun gets a tag. All these tags add up. Yeah, all these tags add up, especially with the Deagles. It becomes so... It feels like it just crumbles all of a sudden. And there we go. There's the first piece of the pie just falling apart. Cajun B will find Freeze's forehead, and there it's done. Now, Snappy has a position. He can do something with this, actually. There's a lot of plays towards the outside area. He's only going to find Config and backs off from that.
I like that. I mean, peeking into an excellent Deagle setup is really nasty. Valde, reasonably enough, taking the fight close. Oh, doesn't expect Rabino to be there, but still, it's good damage being spread across these guys. They shouldn't be complaining about that one at all. Taking a lot of damage in this round, but the guns aren't being dropped. That's the real thing, right? Rabino gets himself an M4. That was, I think, off Freeze that died earlier in the round. And he's got a few tagged up opponents to deal with, but again, Heroic's still well kitted out for this sort of situation, and they go for an out of play. Dignitas try and play it slow, try and work off some Deagle work. Cajun B's had an excellent game so far, but they can't find too much with those. He buys up another one, though, interesting enough. Cajun, anyway.
Okay. Fair enough.
Ballsy, 2 of them.
Staying around 2.5. Not the end of the world. And if they can get these rifles away, that's great. I mean, there's 4 invested, so you might as well. Like, they obviously don't know everything about this. They can't read the whole play, but it's actually not a bad idea considering what they're up against. Freeze, gonna get a spot towards the outside. You've got to be careful, though. He doesn't want to overstay. Now he's heard that Deagle ring off. He's like, okay, let me find a different position where my head's not just going to be kind of plucked from the air. And Magic's gonna hold a little bit of a push angle. Gets destroyed by the UMP. Good that money's being built on towards him, and Glaze found MSL in the meantime. So this is actually going nicely for Heroic, keeping it clean.
Cajun B had made the vent dive and hadn't taken any damage for it here as well. So I don't know if this is just unbeknownst to Heroic. Yeah, Snappy's going to see this one and get taken down, though. Now looking up towards Raft is going to be tough. And for Dignitas, if you're going to play 5 AKs and 5 AKs constantly, then you can buy down to that 2,500 in that second round. You can go for the Eagles. You can extend a little bit, maybe just see if you can get around. But here, they can still get the AWP. Now, this means that Cajun B's glass cannon. I would have thought that maybe they would have just gone for 5 AKs, as we saw them do a lot. So, interesting that this has changed and Cajun actually wants to go with the last cannon setup here, which is, okay, it's fine. It's not exactly robust, especially being pressured by multiple players on long here with rifles.
This is good for Heroic. They've used that buffer.
See?
And as you said, this is one of the issues that can come through with Cajun B's approach to this round. He's going to smoke out towards Garage, but Glaive has already pushed quite close, so this could be a massive issue. I don't know if they saw that flash coming up high. They didn't, and now Glaive's got away with it. That is the deed he wanted. He does get traded out for actually in, but it's all being kind of unraveled, and that is lucky for a tag towards MSL there. Nothing more.
Yeah, would really rather see Cajun B buy an AK there, to be honest with you. It's just a bit more well-rounded when you're sort of still feeling out what Heroic setup's going to be. It's like your first gun round, so yeah, a little bit risky, but we'll let it slide. It's just a done thing sometimes. So MSL trying to creep up. It's hard to spot players there. He does actually see Freeze before he's spotted out and takes him down to 25. So MSL might not realize how ballsy he's being right now, but it's paid off for him. He's forced it AWP back. And now we can start to pressure Freeze a little bit now. Force him to drop down, or at least, gives him a reason to. Dignitas seem to be paying their attention maybe more towards that ramp room. MSL can pincer on this one as well. It's a great position to have now. He's put in the hard work. So excellent stuff that, to get MSL there alive, especially with Freeze, who was technically on Overwatch duty. So now they put 3 players down to the lower level. Snappy and Freeze are going to have to respond to this in due time. This is a good mid-round scenario for Dignitas here.
Absolutely. They can do something with this. Let's see how this one goes, though. It's very hard to retake this site, to be fair. And Freeze does have the AWP, so if he finds any play with this one, I'll be impressed. Quite tough to find its angle. Do have kits, at least that's one big benefit. And MSL going to be holding close to the door. He's going to hear all these steps as well. 1 person, 2 person, spots them both out. A little bit of a play on the door there from Valda just to try and bait him into it, but good positions coming in. Magic's going to find Valda. That's big. Now the HP is low for Dignitas, and Freeze claims MSL, no problem. But the problem being is now Rabino. He is where the buck stops. He will not allow that snap, but no, he does. It's Snappy to go. He's found him, and now he's going to go for the full defuse. The client is running out, and Magic drops in and gets the headshot.
That's Dignitas bringing it back on their first gun round here, so Heroic's still sweating. And now, obviously, on that CT side, if you actually don't get running, we could see the repeat of what we saw last game. Most CT sides are so strong because they're allowed to build economy. They're allowed to get running. They're allowed to keep buying utility. But look at this. I wouldn't mind a rush here. Cajun B with just the Tech 9. I would love to see just a rush maybe on towards up, or you can even, you know, try and push that ramp room really fast here. Pressure onto the fact that there's not much stall mechanic here. There's no Molotovs at all on Heroic and such an important part of this map. So Freeze on outside, Cajun B just trying to peek. With a Tech 9, no less. So I'll be interested to see how long he lingers here. If he has cover of smoke, he can get up a little bit closer and pressure on towards Freeze. A little bit of a mixed bag of buy here as Dignitas, well, lost a few guns in that last round. In fact, 4 of them.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to work around that. Cajun B and MSL about to be in trouble. Glaive gives away the position. But then I still almost one-way smoke there, just playing on the top of it. Expect the next push-up, but didn't expect config on the catwalk. Now Cajun B's followed that up towards Snappy, but as you said, good nade comes in, denies that momentum to build now for Dignitas, and he gets stopped in his tracks. Valda's doing some great damage here, but it's now just down to Modi. Rubino punished Freeze in the meantime.
This is not good for Heroic again. They're going to be back to square one, back to where they were in the last map here as Modi gets completely denied from the side. He was one of those players that only had a pistol coming into this round, so not enough to work with. And here it is. This is what you fear as a CT-sided team on a map where you should be stringing rounds together. You don't have money. This probably should be absolutely squeaky clean behind the ears by Heroic if they want to contest Dignitas and not let them to get to that 15, and it is. So at least that's good to see. I mean, well, Valda there obviously making his own little purchase, but again, mostly just restrained here. But it's going to be hard to work with now, and Dignitas going to keep Cajun B on the AWP, try and work with him here, so maybe they just fancy a change of pace here. They're not hitting sites as aggressively as they were in that first map. They're just changing up a little bit now, going for the slower play, trying to work some picks in. Modi can't get anything pushed up close there as well, and Matchday now can just go and clean house.
Yeah, he's just going on a mission. He's just walking straight through, feeling confident with it as well. This should be 14-7. Unless Freeze and Valda do something ridiculous, which I just don't see happening in any realm of possibility. Valda's got Rubino down, that's good. And that's an AK they want back. And they're going to get it. There you go. Cajun B not going to actually swap out for it. It was MSL who would have loved to upgrade it, but just a little too far away. But they can reinvest. Their money's not completely dead in the water. So 14-7, they're in a good position. A little bit of buffer. You got 5.3 towards Config, 4.9 on Magisk, and the AWP still on Cajun B. On the other side of things, your money's depleted. As you highlighted, this is what you don't want to be seeing as a CT side when your money starts to run thin and you start to really waver in those kind of final throwing rounds. You need to get these. Heroic needs this victory. This was the first loss they've ever had on Nuke as this team just a couple of moments ago. Now it might be the second, but oh my word, Dignitas just walk out towards upper. I used to like their upper hits, but not all just through Squeaky. What is that sort of play? And now they're just going to be encouraged to run through the map.
Not much to say there, really. I mean, the silver lining for Dignitas is that they can buy again, and Heroic still need to desperately sort of win this round. I mean, it would have been better for Dignitas if they actually did something with those guns and actually took weapons out of Heroic's hands. They could have done so much with that round. That's like the backbreaker round, especially not only just because it puts you to 15-7, but also because Heroic are just going to be money screwed yet again. So now they keep that money going. They keep the guns in their hands. You're giving them an opening here. So Dignitas, that's a little bit sloppy. That's a little bit detestable play from them when they're in such a commanding position to sort of let them in the door here. But it's going to make things a little bit more interesting at the very least. Cajun B with an AWP again. No weird rushes. None of that funny business going on here. A little bit more measured, calculated play coming through from Dignitas here. And Heroic aren't going to have too many things to shoot at in this next 5 to 10 seconds.
MSL just going to flash high, try and swing out on it. Did actually catch Freeze for a second, but
Very mild.
yeah, little does he know these smokes are pretty much keeping him alive at this point. Timing is everything. He's going to find Glaive just looking the wrong way, maybe considering that catwalk for a second, and now Freeze finally hits the shot. These are the shots he was missing before. This is a good start for him now, but not going to be following that one up towards the catwalk, and MSL, well, he's aware of this could be an impossibility. Freeze, where is your head at the moment?
You didn't know he's there for some reason. MSL, well, that's hardly any better there. Caught with a grenade in his hand there. At least some assistance was forthcoming, and this is good now. Dignitas down towards 2. Magisk might get the drop on Snappy here, and he does. He finds the head, but he already lost a teammate in the ensuing firefight. Config down. Oh, he's got a knife out, running him towards that ramp room. It's reasonable to expect that Freeze could get himself there after that little stash that happened towards the lower part of the ladder room. I don't know about that one. A bit of a weird call. Now Dignitas, well, they've got to be humble here. They've got to go for pistols. And now that was Heroic getting in. The sloppy rush towards upper from Dignitas when they had Heroic on the ropes goes by the wayside. They make a bit of a meal of that last gun round, and this is Heroic now actually have something to stand on.
I don't know what to make of that one, so here we go. Straight in, Molly's going to be the one to be rushed down. Gonna back away nicely, staying alive so far. Leading the train, he only makes it towards pretty much the very bottom of the ramp. Still looking for a plant here, Dignitas. Might have troubles with that now. Snappy is straight away there, no messing around. Not gonna hold back on this. He's gonna even go to the USBS. Feeling confident. He does get reminded that KGB did manage to find Moddy's M4 there, but he can't keep hold of it. He can't do much more with it. We're actually getting a competitive game now. Finally, Heroic are starting to get a little bit of bite to their bark here. 10-14. Dignitas have hit a little bit of a wall, but they've got the money now to buy. Now, they need to string some grounds together for themselves, but it is tough. It's the T side on Nuke. It's not easy. No one's ever said it's easy here.
So now you've got 5 AKs in, as that's just all they can really afford. And Heroic have all the things that they need. Even Freeze picked up a T-side Molotov, so he's got that utility stacked, as the rest of his teammates do. So we might see an upper hit after that early utility is depleted. But that squeaky door is still going to be a sore spot for Dignitas as they try and push through. That's where a lot of that pressure is going to be coming to. Despite them, getting plenty of Molotovs up in rafters and working in towards the hut.
Let's see. Dignitas have a lot of utility here as well.
Yep.
So they've got the mollies that they can clear out corners with. And they just get... Freeze? What are you doing, Freeze? Freeze just
thought they
gets...
saved? What? How could...
I don't know, but Freeze has just given them so much room to work with. Now, Glaive's actually spotted Config falling off there. He's going to hear it as well, so maybe going to find a reactive spot to that he feels he could work with, find an angle, because already KGB and MSL are down below, so I don't know if they realize the gravity of how many players have snuck through, but Snappy's going to get to that nice position on the stairs where you can just kind of peek up and down, get the info. It's going to be rushed down, though. KGB not going to hold back on that. He's going to show him what for, and now 5v3.
Freeze going down first gives Dignitas all the freedom in the world to take their time and push in towards that secret. But Moddy, 2 quick kills there on ramp room. That was Dignitas trying to, I guess, pincer on. And now that arm of their movement towards B has been cut short. It's still a 3v3, and they still have the bomb down. So if they find decent after plants positions, this should still be a Dignitas round. For all intents and purposes now, is mostly Heroic just trying to peek into the site, some pre-fire coming through, Glaive wants to check Toxic. Config, though, peeks out. Good timing, though. It's only Valdor able to take down Config, and that was a 1v2 for him. Hard to win, especially after losing utter control of out of there. I don't want to harp on it, really. I mean, Freeze might have been there for a bit more aggressive position. Let's just mix it up a little bit. I understand that. But he buys an AWP straight into this, as you have to, of course. This could be the last round here, but we'll have to see what's going to be there to supplement that one. Or if Dignitas can rush down again. Config can only get a UMP, so it's not like Dignitas are fully solidified money-wise.
No, but what an awful start for him. He's got to be frustrated about that one. And Cajun B going to be given that joyous weapon. Going to be gifted UMP. Config's
Cleaner
like,
and trash collector,
right.
I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. So Config's going to light up the smoke. Is that on towards the upper balcony? I'm not too sure.
We're
I
about
think it
to find
might
out.
be... No. Okay, it just denies the window cross. But while that happened, Glaive went for a bit of a play, tried to push up towards T-Red possibly. Didn't find much other than the barrel of KGB's gun joined with Config. And now we're going to see another deficit, another player deficit, another miss from Freeze. Anyone else? You can't see these players. That one he couldn't see particularly well.
Yeah.
Going to adjust now towards
This is
Hell.
rough.
Just misses out on seeing Cajun B. He's going to find that shot. There we go. Now Dignitas being cut down at the knees. This is good from Heroic. Finally, they deny Dignitas building up too much momentum.
Yeah, much better from them. I mean, Glaive's making that aggressive play questionable, but again, we're seeing these thrown in by Heroic every now and then now in these last few rounds. It was Freeze going aggressive on towards the rafters, and then that one. This is fine. I mean, if Heroic are confident enough, you can still play the 4v5 on the CT side comfortably enough. Chad put that one quite clearly for us. Cajun B sitting on the big 30 banger though at the moment. Has had an excellent game so far, and even we see he get dropped like UMPs and trying to work outside with a Tech 9, and he's still making it happen, which is impressive in itself. The man's on fire. However, Magic Boy is also. It's going to be a weird smell erupting from that room thus far, but Cajun B again manages to get involved with just the pistol here. This was ideally a clean round for Dignitas coming in with just those pistols. Cajun B gets himself a second here. This could go wrong, but Freeze will be there to shut it down. Cajun B and MSL both falling in very short space of one another. Get 2 guns away. Heroic, though, it's a fairly well-established economy at this stage. It's looking okay. So Dignitas, I mean, they're not even thinking about trying to bust that out. They're just thinking about trying to get a round in the next 3 and close this one out properly. But again, no AWP into this round. A Galil for Config. Maybe that goes to Cajun again. I'm not sure. Maybe Config needs to play up close in the sights. He wants a better gun for that. Looks like I'll hold it for now. Yeah, all right.
Let's see if there's anything coming out. KGB looking for that aggression. Maybe starting to consider that's a fallback plan, something that's been pulled out a couple of times. He's been caught off with as well. The nades coming through. It's a smoke out towards Garage, no surprises. This is KGB going through the motions. But to be fair, people have been getting the better room outside as of late. You've got a couple of smokes to support this. The flash comes in, no one instantly working off the back. No one's there by secret just yet. Config, again, trying to flash out these players, keep them on their toes to allow the play towards upper to come through. And actually, this could be quite good. Who's going to be stopping them? It's going to be Glaive, surely, right on the edge of that hut, but he gets outdone. Rabino and Magis combine to find the frag. Freeze misses another. It's not too surprising. Let's be honest, he's been sparsely hitting them, but we're in a 4v3 now.
And pretty decent position for Dignitas. The bomb already going down. And Modik getting cut out. This is a nightmare. Heroic looks like they've lost it yet again. A much better performance from them, but Snappy now in a 1v4. Bomb down, smoke in his way. He needs to go for the play. This newest addition towards this roster. He's got a long history going back quite some time, but it's not going to be enough to drag him through here. It's just going to be old wives' tales at this stage. As Dignitas split the series, they take it 2-0, both on Nuke. And Heroic, well, yes, better from them. I still sometimes think the scoreline flattered them sometimes as we went up to that second half and saw some of the weird things that they were doing. They never seemed to really read Dignitas nearly as well as what was coming from the other side of the fence there. Dig looked pretty darn good in general tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Dignitas going to this map now actually starts to pay off. So we knew that they liked going to it quite early on into Nuke coming back.
The earliest, pretty much.
One of the first teams to really go to it is like, okay, we want to work on this. And it didn't look so convincing. Now it's starting to look far better. I wouldn't say it's looking completely robust. The first game looked great. The second, you finally saw Heroic actually giving them a challenge. But overall, you know, considering it was a double nuke, we saw two kind of different games. A little bit of excitement with the second, but still, it was one-sided after the back of just Dignitas starting to get rolling.
Yeah, I think there's some multifaceted stuff we're starting to see from Dignitas now. I like how they're using KGB as well, often put in low economy situations, and he still succeeds in those, you know what I mean? And that's just the hallmark of a great player. That's why he's such a fantastic addition to Dignitas. But let's now make an addition to the show. We're going to disappear now as well, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to pass it to the desk and close us out.
We'll be doing just that. Thanks very much, Mitch. It's just myself and Chad to chat through that game and say our goodbyes. And we do have to kind of reflect upon the fact that Dignitas have done it in two. Albeit not the 16-3 we were treated to first, Chad.
A bit closer.
But, I mean, Mitch was hinting and suggesting that it may be quite flattering to see the double digits by Heroic's name. What do you have to say about that?
I think Heroic played a better CT side. They were in control of the money. They actually won the CT pistol and stuff, so they played a little bit better. But I think the T side of Dignitas was pretty impressive, the way that they could mix it up. They had different strategies. We saw a lot of different stuff from them over 2 maps. I like their outside smokes. It's a bit deeper. It gives them more control. They can go for more duels. I also really liked Dignitas' CT side because they would kind of fight in off angles. They go, okay, well, if you guys really want to go for secret control, we'll let you have it and we'll stop you there. There was one round where Config was already under.
In the corridor.
In the corridor, smoked them off. They were pinned in. Cajun came behind, got a cheeky kill, ran out, went all the way to ladder, and then it was a 4v5 and just slowly disintegrated for them. So Dig looking really good on the map. They got the type of players who can poke and prod around and get those 1 kills and still survive. And good decision making across the board from that team.
It was actually very fun to watch, see exactly how Dignitas have kind of worked that and refined that after. I mean, I saw a very, very different version of Dignitas' Nuke, over in Katowice for the qualifiers. 34 frags for KGB as well. He had a great game.
Yeah, he beasted that game. He was getting a lot of picks, you know, even on the eco rounds or the deco rounds they had and stuff, he was still making kills. So he was effective across the board. And when you have a player who is plus 19, you're doing pretty good.
Well, I mean, I do love, I love that KGB has, you can see a visible change in Dignitas' attitude and style of play since he's arrived on the scene. Yeah,
well, not only that, like he's been thrust into the star position in this team, whereas in Astralis, he wasn't treated as the main star. You know, they had Device and Dupree, and then it was Cajun. But now in this team, he's #1. And then when Magic's Boy and old mate Config, they can add in here and there, and it's a good-looking team, a good unit. And yesterday, they lost to Astralis 2-0. Today, Dignitas have beaten Heroic 2-0. So maybe, have Heroic played Astralis yet? I don't know. But if they have, or if they haven't, I think Heroic will beat them 2-0.
Is that how it works?
I think
it's like a triangle?
Yeah. The laws of physics.
Einstein said that, I think. Heroic should beat Astralis. Those are his words. It's a quote. Yeah, he was a big CS fan. Okay, let's go ahead and recap the day because that has been our Nuke extravaganza. It's been a rather explosive day. 16-14 start for Virtus Pro on the very map you did just witness twice. But, I mean, Astralis, they were very much on an uphill struggle, managed to forge a 10-round comeback on their CT side, but unable to close it out. And so the Polish side picked that one up in a very narrow margin. And a full 60 rounds across 2 maps. In fact, the same happened on Mirage. Astralis close, but no cigar. Now into the nukes, we did get to see a little bit of a glimmer of a spectacular play from Dignitas, and a little more so in the second, this time from Heroic. going 16-12. They weren't able to close it out, though. That's a 2-0 for Dignitas. Much needed at this point in time in the season. You can see it. We are starting to hit double digits all over the place. And a little sleeper that's gone rather unnoticed that just kind of caught my eye is that 6 losses by Mousesport's name. You know, we keep singing the praises of Navi and going, oh, well, they were looking good.
Yep.
Admittedly, they have conceded a fair few losses recently, but look at Mouse.
It's crazy to think how many games are still left. Like, looking at that, we've had so many matches, and to think that I can't even give you a definitive top 3 right now. It's nuts. Like, oh.
There's a lot more to be
It's going
played.
to keep me up tonight thinking about this, I think.
I think it's also because you've had that sudden realization that you've basically got, what, like 3 more days?
There's only 3 more. No, wait, we got 5 more days.
5 more days.
5 more
excuse me.
days to determine the top 6. But we have a 8-day break now.
Yes.
Yeah, so
For the NYC, the Big Apple.
lucky for some.
Hey, man, you'll be there doing the groups. We'll see you there. Doing your thing at Friday at 5 o'clock. You'll be able to catch the groups for the New York City Beautiful. It's ESL 1. You'll be able to catch that all on the stream. That's something to look forward to. For now, though, let's have a quick look at what's coming up in North America, because, of course, it's not just the European stuff. This is the rest. You get yourself SK Selfless in a 2-map affair across Dust 2 and Train. You get Cloud9 going up against the Lions. It's going to be a rather big day and a busy one for Selfless. They're going to have to overcome 2 of the best teams in their region. That's going to be an intriguing one. It's going to be a bit too much, perhaps, for the Lion to handle. But either way, that's what you've got to look forward to, and that'll be on this very, very channel when we do disappear, which is exactly what we're going to do now. Chad, you had a good time?
It's magic.
You got your magic dust?
Yeah.
I never knew how they did that.
We had a long 4 days.
I know, I need a nap. We've got a day off.
Yeah. And then you go get on a plane.
I got a day
had
off,
2 days
though.
off.
I'm going to not do anything. I might play video games in my boxer shorts.
I'm not going to play any video games at all tomorrow. I'm going to go in the sun.
Ooh. Oh, no, walk by the Rhine.
I already did that.
Walk by the Rhine again.
I walked all the way from Rudolfplatz to here.
Whoa. Can't go giving them specifics.
What, to where we are?
Yeah. It's definitely on it.
Google ESL Studios, Cologne.
Stop. We're going to say goodbye. Right. It's been an absolute pleasure for myself, Chad, Pansy, Uber, and, of course, Henry G and Sadakis. We've had a great time. We hope to see you again after our little hiatus. The Pro League will continue. We hope to see you for the New York City group stage.